Do you guys remember Stack Overflow? We know how popular it used to be a couple years back, right? I think it's still quite popular and I use it, but we all know Stack Overflow, right? Especially the community around there. And I remember back, to be fair, when I was just starting programming, I would try to use Stack Overflow and people would just downvote the question. And something similar happened to me on Reddit as well. People would just downvote, and then literally my account had like minus reputation. I had to just delete my question, and something like that happened on Stack Overflow as well. And I just end up deleting the question. And then, as you can imagine, somebody who's just trying to learn a few things, and then people are so discouraging. They kind of tell you don't know how to ask questions. You need to go do your investigation first, and these sort of things. I mean, we've all seen this happen in the comments, even to ourselves. This has happened on Stack Overflow, and and it seems like something similar is happening again. Especially with AI and all that. So what's happening now? And it's gonna sound funny to you, but the inflation is really creating worst type of engineers right now. And how's that connected? Well, the inflation kind of means less borrowing, right? Yeah, higher interest rate and all that. So companies not borrowing too much money, or they can't borrow too much money. This creates competition internally as well. Less promotions, more competition, and then company ends up kind of sacking people. They let the people go. A lot of time there is no logic. They just have to go. Get those numbers high before first quarter, second quarter, get things in order a little bit as much as they can by getting rid of people, reduce the outgoings, right? Because they can't get the funding now because the interest rate is too high. So this this seems to be having this really negative effect on developers, where people are people are keeping so much information just to themselves and not sharing it all on purpose. They're hoarding information as much as they can just to themselves, just to secure their own role in the company. And what that does is, if somebody's done, let's say you written workflows or anything like that, deployment script that deploys your code to EC2 server on Amazon. You spend hours, you spend days perfecting that script, obviously probably more, and you put the script in the code. But if somebody asks you any questions, these sort of people kind of like drip feeding you information, because they realize this information is so valuable, and if somebody else gets this information and somebody else can do the job as good as these people do, their own job will be at risk. So this is kind of creating clashes in engineering departments as well. People are not willing to document anything. People never documented anything anyway, but now it's purposeful. They don't want to document anything. They um, don't want to answer questions in good faith, like proper answers, so the other person understand. These sort of things are going because of what's happening in the market. Less jobs, more competition, people keeping information to themselves to secure their own job. And to be fair, it's nobody's fault. Everybody's trying to earn what they can in these times, and it's not their fault. And I hate to say this, really, I hate to say this, but if you want to get anywhere these days, you unfortunately you have to work extra hours. And to be fair, I hate working extra hours, and it looks to me like the way things are going, you have to work extra hours. Obviously, that's going to benefit the company, but it'll also benefit you, because if you go elsewhere, you would be better skilled, better equipped to do the job. That will probably only come from extra hours. And obviously extra hours for just everything has to multiply. And then I hate to say this, but once you get to the point when you're better than other people in this environment, how the things are going, you have to hoard the information yourself. You have to keep the information to yourself as well and to feed others. It's so sad to say this, but if you don't do that, somebody else will take that information. The spotlight will be on them. And ultimately, it might be the case that because they shine so bright, kind of thing, they have said few things, that click with other people, even though this information came from you initially, just because they decided to speak out loud. They stayed in the company and you were let go. So be careful what you do. I'm not telling you to start collecting information and not share with anyone in the company, but be careful who you share information with. Work colleagues are not friends. Remember that. They can become friends after you leave the job, but not while you're there. It's dog eat dog kind of situation, Wild West, and people will do anything to secure their job. They'll backstab you repeatedly. So be careful wherever you work. But yeah, inflation is kind of causing all sorts of weird things. Anyways, if you like this sort of content, you can subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you guys later.